Hey everybody, welcome to Zenny62. I'm back. Yep, after one night of a delay. Well, one game night of a delay. Game night because normally we come on Sunday, right? But as some of you know, and I would guess that most of you don't know, we had, or rather I had, one of those unfortunate series of unfortunate events. And it goes like this. Basically, the YouTube community, I thought were just YouTubers, right? But no. So, a video I made a long time ago on Iggy Azalea and twerking, using a photo that you can find, two photos that you can find right now, and then if you go to Google or Bing or Yahoo or anything, hey Barry Lee, how you doing? And type Iggy Azalea twerk, and then click on photos, you can find that, right? Someone flagged it as having sexual content. Seriously. Now, the sexual content is me talking. Thanks, Barry Lee. Barry Lee says he's glad I'm back. Thank you. The sexual content is me talking, and not about sex, just about how Iggy Azalea used twerking to gain popularity, right? And that's it. It was only a minute something, minute 50 seconds, so thereabouts. It was flagged and they were going to remove it from YouTube. Seriously. Now, if you go to Google, among others, but go to Google in particular right now and type Iggy Azalea twerk, the first result is a YouTube video. A YouTube video, okay, that shows Iggy Azalea twerking in different scenes. I mean, actual dancing and everything that would definitely get a copyright claim from someone, okay, as opposed to a smart ass black guy talking, me, right? All right. So, Barry Lee says he thinks it's someone who wanted to disrupt my live stream schedule. I don't think that person who did it actually knew. I think they probably felt, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know that I have 13,000 videos and many of them are flagged and the flags are never addressed, okay? Because there's an investigation that's done and it's found there's nothing to it. But every so once in a while, there's something that gets through. So in order to further protect myself from such shenanigans until the YouTube higher ups finally get it to change the definition of YouTube community from every freaking body to truly those who are YouTube partners and those who are hired by YouTube, right? Until that happens, I had to go through and go back in time and look at videos that someone may just try to, you know, flag and say, okay, well, I'll protect this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I did it. Fortunately, the vast majority of my videos are already protected, but, and the other good news is of the 13,000, I don't have many that qualify like that. So, yay. So my point is, I made my case first to the CEO, because I went straight to Susan Wojcicki's Twitter account, right? And I said, hey, look, this photo I used, you can get if you go to Google right now, search Iggy Azalea twerk, right? But if you go and you watch the video, you see my face. So I had the picture and then a picture of my face, right? Right on Susan Wojcicki's Twitter account. And I said, but meanwhile, hey, Albert106, but meanwhile, you can go to YouTube and type what? Whatever you want to type that might be related to sex, okay? And you'll find tons of videos. Many of them were obviously seen by someone at YouTube and approved, okay? Approved. I don't care what anybody says, that's the case. That's the case. And all this comes on the heels of Karen Walker of Cisco saying, we're going to pull our ads because, hey, we don't like that YouTube has all of this content that's not appropriate for us. Well, okay. I can see after what I went through Miss Walker's point, but as I said to Miss Walker on Twitter, I'll say this and I'll get to the Warriors. Hey, you know what? You guys aren't using Google AdSense right, AdWords right, because if you were, you'd pick the keywords and your ads wouldn't fall on certain, videos that fell within the keywords you didn't want associated with your content, your ad content, right? Simple, okay? But you have a lot of companies that put money to, and they don't segregate where the ads go, and then they complain about YouTube. That's stupid. And I believe that's what Cisco is doing. But rather than admit they don't know how to use AdWords, they blame it on YouTube. Hey, Biz Walker, you want great coverage? Stick with partners like me. Pay us. We'll treat you right. All right. So Barry Lee says, I really think I got that one, but it's repeating. Barry Lee thought that someone wanted to disrupt my live stream schedule. Barry Lee then says, what's the latest on the earthquake? Has it been downgraded? Is it still rated the same? It was, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, the earthquake was 3.6 on the Richter scale. I'm in Fayetteville, Georgia, didn't feel it, but it popped up, among other things, on my Twitter account because, I have feeds that focus on Oakland, right? Also, get this, about 2 hours after the earthquake hit, I get an emergency text that there's an earthquake. Not 1 hour, 2 hours. I'm not kidding you. 2 hours later, all right? 2 hours later. It's crazy. All right. Hey, Barry Lee, if you're tweeting out, please tweet #NBA, #Warriors, #Oakland. Thank you, all right? So anyway, let's talk about the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors were supposed to lose this game according to the prognosticators. Instead, they won it not by a point, not by 5 points, but by 13 points. 106 to 119, that's right. And the leading scorer was Kevin Durant with 37 points. Andre Iguodala had 11. Draymond Green had 5, but he was a defensive force. Klay Thompson followed. He was second with 28. Steph Curry had an off night for him with 18. Kevin Looney had 2 points. Nick Young had, Swaggy P as they call him, had 9 points. Sean Livingston had 7, and David West had 2 for the winning Warriors. The Rockets, P.J. Tucker had 1 point. Trevor Ariza had 8. Clint Anduma-Ogalaba had 12 points. Chris Paul had 23. James Harden led everybody by way too much with 41 points. Eric Gordon had 15. Gerald Green had 6. Luke Mota had nothing. Nane had nothing. Ryan Anderson had nothing. So basically, the difference between the Rockets and the Warriors is of the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Rockets. Basically 1/3 of the Rockets team contributed nothing, except minutes. They had, Luke had 17, Nana had 6, Ryan had 5. They contributed zip. By contrast, the Warriors, every single player contributed something in points. Be it the 2 points that David West had to the 37 that Kevin Durant had. Every single Warrior among the 10 scored something. All right? But again, among the Rockets, there were 3 players that had no points. There were the ones who were double digits. There were 4 in double digits. And you had 3 in single digits. That tells you everything you need to know about this contest. Now, the other problem, team of Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Ernie Johnson, and Ernie Johnson and Kevin Smith did a fantastic job of dissecting what the problem was, and basically that the Rockets were holding on to the ball for like up to 13 or 12 seconds before they passed, and on 3 occasions in the first half alone, they held up the ball up to when the shot clock rang out. That was just in the first half alone. So Barry Lee says, haha, Rockets lost Coach Mike can't win NBA title because he's an offensive coach when you need to be a balanced coach like Steve and Pop. Yeah, you know, to me, I'm not a guy who understands basketball anywhere near the degree to which I know football. Football, I know. Football strategy, I know. You say to me, Zinni, I want you to explain this play to a group of people, group of players, group of first string Oakland Raider guys, I can do it. Basketball, you know, I can explain a play, but I wouldn't know the nuance of what I was talking about, okay? Football, I understand the difference between vertical set blocking and zone blocking, okay? So, and how to, and basically, is it possible to do vertical set with a zone block? Vertical set blocking is generally used for the pass, unless, of course, if you're going to run, then you stand up and have vertical set zone blocking, right? You get the idea. I do not have anywhere near the level of detailed knowledge about basketball that I do football. But I know enough to know what I don't know. And the one thing that I was able to determine is, hey, you know what? The Warriors move the ball around, they get the shot off. And they practice shooting. And, you know, but the main thing is they move the ball. Like, I remember when Steve Kerr first coached the Warriors, his first year when they went on this, 17-win run, before it was 17-1. It was improbable, but they did it. They looked like the Harlem Globetrotters with the passing and everything. It was really cool. This was in the pre-KD days, right? It was the pre-KD days. Albert 106 says, the Warriors look unstoppable. James Harden needs to play more defense. I think the basic problem with the Rockets is simply that they don't pass the ball, and they don't seem to have plays to get their specific position participants in line to make a shot, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a three corners offense with a back door, or a four corners set, which would be unusual to play, but yeah, it'd be fun to watch. Or you name it. Whatever it is, the Rockets are not getting movement. It's one guy, Harden, coming up, dribble, 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 and he keeps dribbling, and then it's kind of like, well, maybe I'll pass the ball. To another guy who dribble, 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 and it's like, well, maybe I'll pass the ball. Or if it's not that, it's, hey, I'll pass it for an alley-oop. I mean, and those alley-oop shots are foolers because you hear the crowd and they look great. They get the highlight reels and the replays, right? And you turn around and realize they're still down by 10, right? They did all that moving around and all that huffing and puffing and all that stuff, and they're down by 10. Barry Lee says, in the NBA, offense can only go so far. At some point, he writes, you need a defense to stop their offense without both, like the Spurs and Warriors, and then game over. Coach Mike is not a balanced coach. Hey, Joseph Binsman, how are you? So, okay, Barry Lee, my question to you is this. How many games does this series run? How many? I'm gonna say it's a 5-game series, maybe 6. I can't see it going beyond that. Barry Lee says 5 games. Albert 106 says that arena was quiet. Albert says Warriors in 5. Just to be clear, the Warriors in 5, right? Just saying, okay? Joseph Binsman, what do you guys think? Joseph says, series looks over to me already, laugh out loud. To me, the Rockets, writes Joseph Binsman, need tonight's game 1 and had a chance in the series if they lost tonight close. I think 5 or 6 games, originally picked it for 6. I don't see, I mean, there was a lot of hullabaloo about how the Rockets were, quote, this Rocket squad was built to beat the Warriors. I mean, that's funny. I mean, really, it is. That's tragically funny. Barry Lee says, but the Rockets' will win comes only in Houston, not in Oakland. Ah, great point. Great point. It's a great point, Barry. So that's an outstanding point. Hey, so I'm going to switch back and forth between the Warriors, the SCOTUS decision, and some other stuff. I've got some saying what's going on with the Raiders. Well, the preseason schedule and times were announced, but the one thing that I noticed on the schedule, August 2nd, the Chicago Bears versus the Baltimore Ravens. And you would say, so what? All right. My reaction is Lamar Jackson. That's right. Lamar Jackson gets his first national television exposure on the NFL early, August 2nd. I can't wait to see that one. I can't wait. Joseph Binsman writes, series, I got that one. Barry Lee says, but the Rockets got that one. Joseph Binsman says, this Rockets team is better than the other past teams, but still not good enough to beat the Warriors' depth. No team is that good right now. Hey, John Marks, welcome. How are you? And I agree with you, Joseph. And again, I go back to the statistics. Of the 10 Warriors players, all of them scored. Of the 10 Rockets players, 3 had nothing. So basically, 1/3 of the Rockets team did nothing. I mean, nothing. John Marks, how you doing? How you doing? We got all the players here, all the major players. So if that continues, if the Rockets can't get their bench active, it is over. It may very well be a sweep. It can't be, well, okay, James Harden should have scored 51. Okay, because even if James Harden had scored 10 more, all right, so the Rockets lose by 3. And he would have, or Chris Paul would have to contribute more. Chris Paul is disappointing. Whenever against the Warriors, it seems like he doesn't quite make a play, or things don't quite go his way, he starts getting dirty, throws elbows, kicks you in the shin or the behind. He does these things that he thinks the ref won't see. Chris Paul's dirty, all right? It just is, you know? John Mark says, Barry Strong. Barry Lee says, the squad is in the house. Albert 106, sweep, 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 which he repeats 4 times for the number of games that, you know, equals a sweep. John Mark says, we need T. Cooper, the champ, in here. Yeah, where's the champ when you need him? Hey, champ, where are you, Tor? Malcontent says, I think Mark Davis was simply lucky in that he may be able to benefit from the SCOTUS sports gambling ruling. I think, you know, my initial thought was that he was a genius. But having thought that, Nevada is exempt anyway. So you could bet on sports gaming. So that's not the case. If anything, the ruling is a net negative for Las Vegas. Why? Because of what led us to Monday in the first place. That was now former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie believing that the only way to revive the lousy casino market in Atlantic City was to ignite sports betting, and the only way to do that was to challenge the standing law that basically said states could not regulate whether or not they wanted to have gambling. Chris Christie did that because the victory would have allowed New Jersey to open the door for sports gambling Atlantic City. So now, which city loses out if Atlantic City is built up? Las Vegas, because of the number of people that would go from the east to Las Vegas to bet on sports. Hey, that's gone. And yet Atlantic City has the infrastructure to rebuild its casino to casino industry, excuse me. For example, do you know that Hard Rock International has opened what used to be the Trump International Casino? Yeah, Hard Rock's involved in it. You have Hard Rock and other companies that are, if not purchasing properties, then at least looking at purchasing properties to get involved in the casino industry, the rebuilding of the casino industry in Atlantic City. That benefits Atlantic City at the expense of Las Vegas. And it also hurts the flow of visitors to Las Vegas, which does what? It hurts the amount of money going to the stadium hotel tax. That's right. So again, this is a gigantic problem that is adding already to the events, the structural economic events that are causing the long-term decline of Las Vegas prowess in gambling. That's in the tourism that Las Vegas enjoyed was because of that. Sports is not going to fill that void, folks. Sports is not going to fill that void because Las Vegas does not have enough sports activity to make up for a difference in a month of 100,000 people. Okay? That just isn't the case. 100,000 people, 200,000 people, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months of that. Sports is not going to replace that. So, could it though? It could. It could. It won't be immediate. It could happen. The question is, and I don't yet know the answer, how much will Las Vegas visitor rate decline? That gap is what sports has to fill. If the decline is, 100,000 a month, sports over time could, and other entertainment could fill in that gap. But if it's 200,000 or more, you got a problem. Now, overall, okay, that's per month. Okay, that is a per month. That's per month. When you take the overall numbers for Las Vegas, like 40 million visitors a year, currently, it doesn't sound like a lot. But when you look at the hotel tax, the stadium portion of the hotel tax, occupancy rates, it only takes a little bit change to make the difference between a bond issue that pays for itself and one that does not, okay? That's the problem Las Vegas faces right now. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This stadium hotel tax and the $750 million subsidy, which is really $650 million, could not have come at a worse time. Well, it could have, but that, I'm being dramatic. It could not have come as a worse time. Technically, it could, because it happens perfectly at the point where the long-term structural decline of Las Vegas in terms of visitors is happening. And when I say decline, I don't mean like to zero, but what happened 10 years ago to Reno is now starting to impact Las Vegas, which is much bigger. Okay? So yeah, the taxpayer will wind up paying for, to a degree, the Raiders Stadium. That's what's going on. Meanwhile, you're probably wondering what's happening with the Raiders lease. I'm going to make a prediction. The Raiders are going to be in Oakland for another 2 years. There's my prediction. Okay? There it is. As Malcolm Tent says, definitely not genius. Malcolm Tent, how you doing? I'm going to go back and read your comments here. Barry Lee says, hey, Charles Parkley said sweep in 3. Yeah, I heard that. Malcontent says that Vegas will lose its economic leverage as a gaming hub. John Mark says, plus the Raiders will fail in Vegas. Joseph Binsman writes, yep, the new Hard Rock in Atlantic City and the new Oceans Resort that takes over for Revel in Atlantic City both open on June 28th. Looking forward to seeing what both are like soon. Hey, love to see a video of that, Joseph Benson. Maybe you could post it here on Zenny62. Give us a live stream look, right? Bailey says, or asks rather, have they done anything with a hotel at Trump Tower in Atlantic City? Yeah, Hard Rock bought it. John Mark says, I would love to go to Atlantic City. That makes two of us. I've never been. John Marks also writes, Clark County better pay it forward. I agree. Rado Cuco, haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Rado Cuco writes, the Guatin Casino and Resort in Rohnert Park, California has certainly put a ding on Vegas. You know, I think you're right, and I'm not saying, I didn't take your statement as what you wrote as a joke. It has. And I haven't been there. It's also the Groton, and there's another casino. It was a Cache Creek, right? That's nearby. There are two casinos. And then, of course, you have the Oaks Card Club, which is growing in Emeryville, which should be much bigger than it is, and others. Joseph Business says, my mom and I are big fans of the Borgata in Atlantic City. The one casino that is doing well / gets it right. We will see how the two new casinos compete with it. Joseph Business says, I've never been to Vegas. Can't wait. You've never been to Las Vegas? Oh, my gosh. Oh, you got to go. Okay, go to Las Vegas. The first thing you should do, to me, all right, in my mind, all right, is pick a restaurant to go to. There are so many fine dining options. You got to see, among other things I think you should see, you got to see the Bellagio fountains, okay? You got to have dinner at Paris Hotel. Take your Mrs., your other significant other, and ask for an outside table, because across the strip, you can see the Bellagio fountains, right? Okay. You know, there's a lot of things you should do. Now, Malcontent says, the NFL is also a membership organization with its own bylaws, basically a layer of regulation on top of federal and state law. There's no guarantee the league will allow its teams to benefit directly. Malcontent, that sets up a great NFL owners meeting. Let me get back to you on that one, which is next week, which I'm credentialed to go to. Almano says, have you heard the rumor that the Russian oligarch and Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich wants to buy an NBA team and turn it into a super club? Nope. Albert 106 says, I can't stand hot weather. Eric Young, how you doing, Eric? John Mark says, I stayed at the Desert Inn in Vegas in '86. Wonder if it's still there. No. Dustin Scott says, Baltimore and National Harbor outside of D.C. have brand new shiny casinos. This is how Atlantic City isn't as packed as it used to be. Baltimore, D.C., and Richmond people now have casino fun right at their homes. Interesting. Joseph Binsman says, it's funny how that works. You got Atlantic City, and then Vegas. Atlantic City takes from Vegas. Baltimore and D.C. take from Atlantic City. Joseph Binsman says, nope, can't wait. We'll make it a kick. You know what? First trip. Malcontent says, great. Thanks for looking into that issue. You got it. Malcontent, here's the thing as far as the NFL. It sets up the continuation of a battle between Jerry Jones and the owners that side with him with respect to Vegas, and I would ostensibly assume gambling, and the old guard led by Commissioner Goodell that, as a friend of mine put it today, want to put things clean, you know? So that's the way it sets up at this point. Now, my read on it is this. Societies change laws, and laws change society. When I was starting sports business simulations, I said this before and I'll say this again, we were approached about turning my Oakland Baseball Sim World, which is a game of running the business of the A's, into a real gambling game. And I felt, and I shared this with my business partner, Dan Rasher, we agreed that the legal risk was too great to even fool with. Now, had we been able, you know, to see a change in the law, I would change my game like that. That's an example of adjusting to the times. But you do so because, hey, look, the money is out there to be had. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, said that he expects or believes that franchise values in sports will double. You hear me? He said double, which means the Dallas Cowboys, currently worth, what, 4.5 billion, will be worth 8 billion over a period of time. How long? Don't know. Depends. The question is, does it uniformly apply to the NFL and the NBA? It's another story. Now, Jordan Yancey, how are you? Jordan says, I see they're doing a lot of work in the stadium in Vegas. Just got back yesterday. Yeah, they're still doing a lot of foundation work. It's going to take a long time. That stadium's not going to be open by 2020. Okay? It's not happening. Now, having said that, I will say this. That thing is exciting. And I'm rooting for the Raiders to have a great facility. I know people don't like to hear that, but I'm done with the idea that Oakland, as it's ran right now, has the credibility, certainty, and capacity to deliver on any large-scale public project. I'm sorry, I just do not have faith that Oakland can get that done. I think that we have some severe problems, and I say this about people that I personally know and love for the most part, but I've lost faith, and I think in this year in particular, with my mom going through, her stuff and my friend dying, clock's ticking, okay? And there have been a number of people like myself who've always said that Oakland has potential. I am sick and tired of the word potential consistently being used to describe Oakland. It has been, since 1978. I can go back that far when it has been since 1978 that I've always heard someone describe Oakland as having a lot of potential, okay? And I can go back that far. After a while, you get tired. I've reached that point where I'm tired. Okay. Eric Young says, so we just give up on Oakland and accept this move? No, you shouldn't accept the move because, look, is there a good faith issue problem? Yes. Pursue it. Is there a lawsuit to be gone after? Of course there is. Absolutely. Does it mean that Oakland will forever be this way? No. But listen to my words. I said with this particular group of people running it, that can change. That can change. This is an election year, okay? But I'm saying that this particular group of people has gotten us to where we are right now. And I don't like saying that. Some people would say, oh, the truth always helps to get out. It doesn't feel good to tell that. It doesn't feel good to say that. But it has to be said. But I'm not saying give up. No. But I am saying, hey, look, the idea of getting the Raiders back is remote. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's quite possible. Because there's some technical issues with that deal that are slowly unfolding. Okay? But don't waste your life hoping on it. What they're building, think about it from this other perspective I'm going to offer. Las Vegas has been this destination. John Mark says, I'm not accepting this move at all. And I get you, okay? But my point is, and Dustin Scott, I'll get to your comment in a second. My point is that the Raiders did not do this the right way. I 1,000,000% agree. They didn't. They hurt a lot of people along the way. There's a good faith issue to be tried in court. My point is, it hasn't been. And the people best in line to do it haven't done it. And it's not us. Okay? So, and it's upsetting. Okay? And it is upsetting. But on the other hand, as a person who's been a fan of Las Vegas, which also hurts because I've always loved Las Vegas. And I've gone there every single year for CES, right? So it hurts me that of all the cities, for this to be, in this problem, why does it have to be Las Vegas? But think about it. Las Vegas is growing and changing from that destination that you went to visit to a place to live. It's maturing as a city, and this is part of it. And I have to admit it, as an urban planning major and urban planning master's degree at Berkeley holder, I mean, that's exciting. That's just me, all right? So, let me get back to your comments here. Now, I got John Marks says, I can't wait for the potential NFL players strike that might happen in 2021. I think it might be 2020 myself. How does that impact on the Vegas economy and the Raiders? Well, the players strike has basically this. It has a minuscule, if any, impact on the Vegas economy at all. Because when the Raiders start playing, the infrastructure of business around the stadium that one expects to be there over time will not have materialized. That's going to happen, 4 years down the pipe, 5 years down the way, right? It'll happen whenever the Super Bowl is announced. There will be construction. In fact, I would be very surprised if there was not anything on the books or being planned for expansion or development that will be completed by, say, 2024 or 2024, I think, is a realistic time for the Super Bowl. But I would be surprised if there's nothing on the books right now that points to that in terms of a new hotel or any kind of business, all right? And we know there are. So, but to have a strike at that point hurts the Raiders more than anybody else by far. Because that's when the stadium first opens. It also would hurt UNLV. Well, would it? No, because UNLV still plays its games. But, yeah. But it'll be an interesting scenario if the Raiders aren't able to play games and yet have to have UNLV pay a fee. And what's going in the back of my mind is, with the Raiders, I don't think the Raiders would ask for anything extra from UNLV in order to make up for the fact that they're not having money coming in someplace else. Would the Raiders do that? No. It's worth investigating, though. So anyway, let me go on. I don't want to miss your comments. But that's my preliminary answer, John Marks. Malcontent Z asks, he says, Z, that's exactly why I was asking, because Commissioner Goodell seems to be an old guard traditionalist. He is. Barry Lee says, John Marks, the only problem I have with a strike is that it hurts the fans. Eric Young says, should we just give up on Oakland and accept the move? And I've answered that again. The answer is no. John Marks says, I'm not accepting the move at all. Dustin Scott says, I can't wait to see what states will quickly legalize sports. I hope DC can get the ball rolling quickly. We'll probably have to get the House Oversight Committee to leave us alone and let us gamble. That's right, because you guys are in a different situation. You think that's likely? It's a good. You know what? You know what? I should ask Mr. Bob if he'll come on and talk about that. Robert Bob would be a great person to talk about that. Don't you think, Dustin? Eric Young says, I think the lawsuit should go forward, and you're right about the powers that be, lazy as hell. Barry Lee says, yeah, I've accepted the move, but not sure if I will trust any games played in Vegas. Eric Young says, while doing Uber a couple of weeks ago, I picked up Martavis Bryant. No, you're crapping me, man. This is news. What? Wait a minute. I gotta tweet this out. What? Eric Young says that he picked up Martavis Bryant's car as the subject of Vegas came up. All think the cost overruns be covered by the taxpayers. Ha ha! Are you serious? I gotta tweet this out. What? This is hilarious. One of my viewers is an Uber driver. Picked up Martavis. I gotta. That's huge, man. That's classic. That's classic. I gotta tweet that one out. Picked up Oakland Raiders Martavis Bryant, who said that he believes taxpayers, Vegas taxpayers, will pay for stadium. Las Vegas. Huh. Hashtag Raiders. Hashtag NFL. Hashtag Las Vegas. Hashtag Oakland. Okay. Oakland. Got it. Okay. Tweeted that out there. That's news, man. Thanks, Eric. That's news. Dustin Scott says, yeah, these stadiums aren't about football anymore. They're about Beyonce, Final Four, Mayweather, and the Super Bowl. Mark Davis doesn't care about the Raiders anymore. They are second fiddle to him now. Hey, but Mark loves the Vegas sexy show. Remember? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Black Lion Supreme. Hey, Black Lion, how you doing? John Mark says, one love. Eric Young says, I kid you not. I believe you, man. I tweeted it out. Hey, man, I trusted you. I trusted you as a source. I tweeted it out, okay? Eric Young says, the players are sipping the Kool-Aid from Mark Davis. They all think everything is just hunky-dory. Well, they get paid from him. I mean, they're not going to, look, nobody dislikes Las Vegas to begin with, okay? That's the first thing. Second, they're paid by him. What do you expect? John Mark says, a sexy show just wants Mark Davis money. Ding! And Jordan Yancey says, he's single, I guess he can mingle. They're talking about Mark Davis at the sexy show. And Dustin Scott says, yep, with the stadium, Mark Davis will be a 2018 version of P.T. Barnum. Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? And Eric Young says, well, actually, ha 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 ha. What? Wait, fill that in, Eric, because before you said the players are sipping the Kool-Aid, they all think everything's actually hunky-dory, but then, okay. Malcontent says, an NFL player strike would definitely hurt the Raiders because of lower hotel revenue in Clark County. Nevada economy in general. No positives for the Raiders in a player's strike. No, it would. Here's my point, okay? I'm not convinced that there will be that many people flying in for a Raider game for it to cause a significant dent in hotel visits. I'm just not. I'm not signing on to that because you're going to get people, you're going to get locals. But I think beyond the first year, maybe you're not going to get sellouts. I think you're going to get a lot of games where you get maybe 80% capacity or 70% capacity. Until, at that ticket price level. And then it'll go to, and then once they realize, unless they don't realize it early, that their ticket prices are too high, then they'll come down and fill in the gaps. I'm not stating wishful thinking. What I'm looking at is Las Vegas' habit of gouging people. You know, every time there's a large event, a lot of people coming in, the hotel rates go up like that. 300%, 400%. It's ridiculous, okay? So, it's ridiculous. And Barry Lee says, yes, Mark Davis is single, but he has to realize these women wouldn't give him the time of day if he was poor. Well, Eric Young says, everybody loves Las Vegas. You know, one thing I'll say about this. Everyone in Las Vegas is nice. They always try to be your friend. I don't think the whole dating issue is, if you say there's a problem, is exclusive to Mark Davis, because I've talked to a lot of people who say that Las Vegas is a terrible place to meet a mate. Terrible place for a guy to meet a girl. I mean, a serious relationship, okay? Doesn't matter who you are. Just saying, okay? John Mark says, not me, in response to Eric Young saying everyone loves Las Vegas. Barry Lee says, laugh out loud, Eric Young and Trump is a great president who knows what he's doing. Muhammad Ahmad, he says, how much leverage did you took Jerry Jones had on the move? That question doesn't make any sense. His Legends company will make a killing on the stadium. If he backs out, maybe we have a chance to stay in Oakland. That's a great point, you know, Muhammad. The economics of this deal are so steep that I am waiting. I mean, really waiting to see what happens. Now, the Raiders do have down the road a possible financial out in the introduction of gambling as a source of revenue for the NFL nationwide. Not just in Nevada, but nationwide. Because what the NFL would do is gather that revenue and then divide it evenly among the members in accordance with its, I call it hub and spoke revenue sharing policy that gave it the success it enjoys today. The question is, can that stream of money be developed fast enough to cover up the Raiders' debts in Las Vegas? I'm going to venture a guess that it can. Okay? I'm going to venture a hypothesis that the answer is yes. Because of the fact that you have a number of people who are going to look at an NFL team differently if the NFL warms up to gambling. So next week's NFL owners meeting, where among other things, the winner of the right to host the 2019 and 20 NFL draft, and also the winner of the sweepstakes to own the Charlotte Carolina Panthers, will be a pivotal meeting with respect to the future of the National Football League because of this SCOTUS decision. Okay. Not that there's going to be any decisions made that are directly the result of it, but there's certainly going to be a lot of questions, chatter, great press conference. Quite excited. All right? Black Lion Supreme says, facts, Barry, facts. John Mark says he loves Reno. Jordan Yancey offers maybe the girls will make Mark Davis get whatever. Muhammad says, Albert 106 says, how are they doing on PSLs? I need to review that, Albert. I'll get back to you. John Mark says, what? Give up the... Nah. Eric Young says, if I'm a casino owner, I don't want you going to a Raider game. I want you to come to my casino, gamble, and lose your life savings on it. Unless, of course, as a casino owner, you happen to own the team, right? The big question, I think, is now that this SCOTUS decision has been done, will Sheldon Adelson get his opportunity to own part of the Raiders? Ooh. Ooh. You know? Ooh. That's the thing, all right? Muhammad says, sorry, typo, got it. Riley says, I wonder if Oakland City officials are even looking at trying to get a team from either one of the new football leagues starting up on the... No. Oakland City's a mess. You have, last week this white girl, 10 days ago I think it was, decided she's going to call the police on a group of us black folks barbecuing on Lake Merritt. And then like the next, I think last weekend, a few days ago, these fire dancers on the lake, they have these, orbs, put gasoline on them, they catch fire, and you spin them around and all that. Nobody calls the police on them, but it's okay, they're white, right? That's the kind of crap we've got going on in Oakland. And if it's not that, it's somebody building these mega expensive homes or apartments, and that, common folks can't live in, speculative. And we don't have any development going on that's not housing that produces jobs. Okay? So, Malcontent says Mark Davis is looking for a good time in Las Vegas. Hey, ML Scott, how you doing? Destin Scott says Ted Leonsis, great guy I might add, this is me saying, owner of the Capitals, Mystics, and Wizards, was really drooling at the ruling today. He said it's a landmark day. Ooh, really? I want to see that one. Eric Young says, so, hope this lawsuit goes forward. Barry Lee says, yeah, Zinni. Can that woman who called the police talking about the false police report against the black folks in Oakland who are barbecuing, can't she be charged for false reporting? I don't understand that. I think she could. I know that there's one council member that wants her arrested. I can't say who, but I know that. Hey, I want to see, I want to go here, Ted Leonsis. Let's see what Ted says here. Ted Leonsis, Wizards, sprays this. This is by the Washington Times, all right? Thank you for presenting me. God, I'd love to get Ted on my show. That would be a dream come true to meet him in that way, I gotta get a big name on here. Not that I haven't had big names on here, I have, but another one. Ted Leonsis, this is by the Washington Times, owner and CEO of Monumental Sports and Entertainment, which operates the Washington Wizards, the Washington Capitals, and Washington Mystics, released a lengthy statement in support of the Supreme Court's decision to repeal a federal ban on sports betting. They have a link to it, so I'm getting it. It's called Ted's Take. You have doubts? Take a look. It says it right here. It says Ted's Take. All right. Today's Supreme Court decision means new frontiers for sports data. Ooh, sports data. That's right. See, that's because what they want to do, they want to control the data that you use to determine how to bet. What kind of data? Well, player size, 40 times, what they did in the last game. You get the idea. Yards per carry, sports data. Anyway, let me read Ted's take. Ted goes, stats have always been the lifeblood of sports fandom. Fantasy sports, right? And a fan today has more stats available to digest and analyze than was imaginable even a decade ago. Player movements, biometrics, hyper-detailed opponent history, data analytics have become integral to team success, but also to diehard fans' enjoyment of the game. So the Supreme Court decision today to repeal the federal ban on sports betting and clear the way for legalized sports betting across the country is in many ways the logical outgrowth of fans' obsession with data. It brings a multi-billion-dollar industry out of the shadows and into the sunlight, where its integrity can be guaranteed and consumers can be protected. I believe today's decision will change the face of sports fandom for the better. And I agree with him. This is where, when we started Sports Business Simulations, the kind of data that we were using was business-oriented data around which you would use to make a decision, which then produced fantasy sports business data. But the gentleman that approached us, won't say his name, wanted to have all that bettable. And now I think that's really a cool idea. Maybe the rebirth of sports business simulations. Okay. If you're interested, my number is on my blog, zenny62.com, 510-517-7565, serious calls only. Okay? If you're not serious, I'll hammer you. But I digress. More Ted. Ted says sports betting is built on a rock-solid foundation of data. Plain and simple. Oh, by the way, the Oakland baseball sim world that I built, I still have the equations to, and the code to build a website around would allow you to run the business of the Oakland Athletics. The better you do, the better your score. Okay? Used in any classroom. But I digress. Here's more Ted. Ted says, and as our data analytics have gotten better, guys, this is a long read. I'm not going to read all this damn thing. It's not that long, but still. I mean, but he has some little interesting nuggets in here. Like Ted says, think about it this way. Wall Street is another industry that's all about data. It's about making informed decisions about what the market will do based on the data you have available to you. And there are tremendous safeguards in place to protect consumers, the SEC, for example, to ensure that trading happens on a level playing field. Sports betting is no different. Today's decision paves the way for the implementation of safeguards against fraud in sports betting, including things like licensing betting operators to ensure their legitimate and regulated monitoring of betting lines. Many ask if this decision will impact the integrity of sports themselves. I think just the opposite. I think that the increased transparency that will accompany more legalized betting across the country will only further protect against potential corruption. They say sunlight is the best disinfectant, and in this case, I believe that is certainly true. You know, that's his take. He goes on and on and on about it. I'll tell you what, though. I think the biggest impact of this is in economic development. Those states that have the greatest mix of sports businesses, be it professional, amateur, combined with politicians that want to take advantage of the opportunity, will win out. Is Georgia one of them? No. California? Could be. Arizona? Maybe. New Jersey? Definitely. Definitely. All right? Definitely. Hey, Donis. Yes, I'm aware of Margot Kinner's passing. Sad stuff. Sad stuff. All right. Now, Barry Lee says, yeah, Zinni, can that woman be charged? I got that one. Mohammed says, what's going on in the governor's race in Nevada? State treasurer could be a pain on this project. True. Let me see what the polls say on that, Mohammed. Let me see here. Nevada gubernatorial election 2018 polls. Okay. Here we go. Poll. Target Smart for, that was an old poll. Ballotopedia. It had Sisolak, all right. Ballotopedia, Nevada gubernatorial election 2018, governor. Let me scroll down here and see what has changed since the last time I looked at this doodad, and cut to the chase. I don't see anything new. Primary, Republicans, noteworthy events, race rating. Here we go. Okay. Cook's political report calls it a toss-up. Inside Elections with Nathan Gonzalez says it tilts Democrat. That's as of April and then May 1st of 2018. Larry Sabato's crystal ball says it's a toss-up. For polls, the Melman Group from the Nevada Independent has it scored this way. Christian Giuliani, 38. Adam Laxalt, 40. Undecided, other, 22. Sample size, 600. So basically what this has, the Melman Group apparently has it that, and I'm clicking on this to read this more in depth. It has Christian Giuliani beating Steve Sisolak. Ooh! But then Adam Laxalt beating Jim Giuliani. And so, I'm looking at it now. Okay, here we've got questions about Trump. Okay, go back here. This is interesting here. It says, if the November 2018 election for governor were held today, and the candidates were read and randomized, Democrat Christian Giuliani and Republican Adam Laxalt. So this poll only compares Jim Giuliani and Laxalt. Therefore, I can't assume that Sisolak didn't beat Jim Giuliani, okay? It's the way this is designed, all right? So that's it's not really a reliable one. Target Smart for Jim Giuliani was January. Melman Group, let's see here, had Steve Sisolak beating Adam Laxalt, 43-37. So the Melman Group has Steve Sisolak looking better against Laxalt than Jim Giuliani. Target Smart for Jim Giuliani has Adam Laxalt beating Steve Sisolak. So you have to score this as a toss-up. There is a female wave around the country. Will that bend toward Jim Giuliani? Don't know. None of these polls look at Dan Schwartz. Okay, so I don't. It's hard to see. It's hard to see who's going to be the clear winner here. Democrat or Republican. Let alone will it be Laxalt or Schwartz or Jim Giuliani or Sisolak. Okay. So hey, good night, Barry Lee. See ya. Yes, Stonis, Margot Kidder, rest in peace. Sad news. John Mark says, I just saw the video of the white woman in Oakland who called the police on the two black guys. Actually, it was a group. Black guys, black girl. She should be arrested. However, can the black girl who had her card swiped by the white girl what? Well, actually, can she be arrested too? No. Note, John Marks, that girl... the girl, I don't understand, you said the black girl who had her card. The girl who had her card swiped by the white girl? Oh, no. The girl's not black, John. That girl's white. Michelle is white. FYI. Okay? Black Lion says, Hill, let's see here. Malcontent has a comment. Malcontent says, the Reno Gazette-Journal reported Nevada just lost its firm grip on sports betting after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a federal law on Monday that outlawed the activity in other states. That's right. Black Lion Supreme says, sports is done this worse than the Raiders moving to Las Vegas. That didn't come out right, Black Lion. Malcontent writes, they also list which other U.S. states think they are most likely to benefit. I'll go to that. That's why you can't post a link to that. So I'll go to that. Sorry, Malcontent, I'm just getting to this. Let me, hey, Sean Grogan, how are you? Go Dubs. Go Dubs. Black Lion says a drop pass, a missed three, and the first thing people are going to think is they're paid to throw the game. Yeah, you know, Ted Leonsis is going on this stuff about data rules and sunshine is great. And I'm reading all that, right? And I'm thinking, Gordon Gekko, Wall Street, insider trading. And with respect to sports, what is insider trading but fixing a game? Right? Right? There's going to be out there somewhere a Gordon Gekko of a more tech orientation, putting, nanobots in a drink that maybe enhance the performance of certain players. You never know. Someone wanting to test this formula that, gets into your system and then under certain conditions, controlled remotely by some sort of AI that you've got a hold of, it pumps adrenaline into you at the right moment. Right? I mean, you never know. Okay? You never know. You never know. John Mark says, I'm going to buy season tickets to the Oakland Athletics next season. Joseph Benson says, now people are really going to wonder if college athletes should be paid, and will college sports get messy with corruption? They already are. And John Mark says, okay, Zay, thank you. And Black Lion says, all sports will be in question under these circumstances. Yep, completely. Now, I'm going to go back to, were telling me about the Reno Gazette, right? Reno Gazette. Okay. Reno Gazette Journal. Oh, the Golden Knights won tonight, 3-1, game 2. So now it's the series is tied because the Jets had won, I think, 4-2 the previous game. Now let's see here. Pulling down here. Harry Reid, Reno Mom, Sisolak. Could volcano eruption hit Nevada? Maybe. Ooh. What? Ooh. Supreme Court opens sports betting outside Nevada. Click on this one, okay? And there's Chris Christie crowing after the victory. Trying to find out, okay. Why won't this doggone thing work? Doesn't work. Friggin'. Sorry, this. Oh, here we go. Okay, click on this. Open. Scroll down. All right. This is one of those pages on the Reno Gazette. You're a couple that likes movies, have kids that use pause on the Reno Gazette site that's just laden with JavaScript-enabled stuff. Video here, ad there. I just want to scroll down the page, man. Okay, now Justice held 6-3. Here we go. States that would likely offer sports betting within 2 years are in purple, whatever color that is, blue, orange within 5 years. Let me show you this, folks. Okay, here we go. All right, and there, okay? So within 2 years, there's Nevada. The Raiders are going there. This is Missouri. Just Idaho up here. Then we've got Rhode Island. You got Indiana, Michigan. Over here, we've got Ohio, Pennsylvania, District of Columbia. Of course, you've got New York and New Jersey. And then you've got Alabama next to, Louisiana next to Alabama. This is Georgia next to Alabama, okay? Then that's Florida in gray. The states in gray are screwed. So there you go. That's how it reads. The states in gray are screwed. Georgia's one of them. That could change. Right now, no. But look where California's sitting. Okay? In Arizona. Look at Washington. Look at that. Okay? So that's how it looks. Thank you, Malcontent, for pointing. Yeah, it just kind of feels like, what next? You're going to legalize ladies of the evening? You know, it just seems like you get one and then there's the other next, you know? Because you got that, You have marijuana legalized in some areas, right? What's next? Um, Dustin Scott says there are so many dudes who fly out to Vegas for the sole purpose of sportsbook. Nevada lost its trump card today, and that's Dustin. That's going to play a negative role in the money that goes to paying off the Raiders bond issue, and that will fall on the taxpayer. Um, this sets up a complicated problem for the Raiders because with the Las Vegas market being less attractive, does that mean it's going to be harder for the Raiders to get the sponsorship dollars they want? I wonder about that. Okay, I really do. I wonder about that. Black Lion sees Supreme says yes. Vegas says they are not worried. Well, Vegas says they're not worried, but Black Lion, but the Reno Gazette sounds worried. In fact, let's go back to the Reno Gazette and see that. We read, because I disagree with you. I disagree with you. The entire tone, you have to remember, Reno has been decimated by the decline in gambling, right? They've really been wrecked by it, okay? So the verdict seems to be, oh, here it is. Listen to this. Barring action from Congress, the ruling effectively allows every state to pursue a slice of the lucrative sports betting pie. Last year, Nevada sportsbooks made nearly $5 billion, according to the Nevada Gaming Control Board. The number is eclipsed by the amount generated by illegal sports betting in the United States each year. The American Gaming Association estimates that bettors wage $154 billion on illegal sports betting annually. Estimates for illegal betting on sports can range as high as $400 billion, a number touted by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in a New York Times op-ed. Okay? The Supreme Court ruling is welcomed by the American Gaming Association, which has pushed for legalized sports betting across the United States for years. Now, some see legalized sports betting across the United States as something that would siphon business away from Nevada. The expansion of sports books in other states, however, is a potential opportunity for companies such as Monarch Casino and Resort, which operates its own sports book and also has its own race and sports book mobile app, says Chief Operating Officer Dave Afari. Long term, it's a good thing for Nevada because Nevada licensed casino operators who've been in the business understand how the industry works, right? So we have the opportunity to share with other states and grow our businesses. Right, that's right. The individual businesses benefit, but they only benefit because their market's bigger. Instead of it just being Nevada, it's the whole country, right? That's the difference. But from an economic development perspective, Nevada itself is harmed. El Dorado Resorts Incorporated, which has 20 properties in 10 states, declined to comment on the story. The Peppermint Resort Hotel, which is putting in a $3 million upgrade to its sportsbook, said the sportsbook issue is something it has been monitoring through the years and will continue to do so. Here's a quote: "It'll be interesting to see how sportsbook evolves and how many states pick them up," said Stefan Acusa, a corporate director of business development for the Peppermill. "We are interested to see how it plays out." MGM Resorts International, which operates several hotel casinos in Las Vegas, as well as also says it's well positioned for a post-PASPA environment. One common theme brought up by MGM as well as American Gaming Association is the need for a new regulatory environment. One concern surrounding the advent of sports betting across the United States within the gaming industry is having to deal with disparate laws among the various states that opt to legalize the activity following the Supreme Court decision. We look forward to working with legislators and policymakers to achieve a regulatory outcome that benefits states and consumers alike while ensuring the integrity of sports. Oh my God, you know what this means? Sure, Las Vegas is definitely hurt, but the companies within Las Vegas get to expand their operations because they have the advantage in terms of expertise. So from an individual standpoint, cha-ching, these guys have hit the lottery. They've hit the lottery. Because now they get to expand their presence around the country even more, but their headquarters is in Las Vegas. So they'll be like, like the insurance companies in Omaha, right? Omaha is the headquarters, but the insurance companies all over the place. Watch. I believe that's why Oakland needs to step in and take advantage of this. I think that the future of sports gaming is in venues that have sports activity and then allow betting on-site, on-premise for that activity. The Oakland Coliseum provides a wonderful opportunity for that. Also, I think that women's sports could really benefit from this. Fantasy sports around women, why not? I like that idea. Ooh. Okay. All right. Malcontent says, hopefully, ironically, the last thing found in Pandora's box was hope. Eric Young says, Las Vegas is about to be like Reno. Ding. That's right. Eric Young says, Malcontent, well, I hope the Oakland Raiders somehow stay in Oakland. Ditto. Dustin Scott says, today's verdict gave me, a dude who's never been to Vegas, a 89% higher chance of never going to Las Vegas. I don't have to. There are casinos around D.C. and the burbs. Only tempting thing is CES. You got to go for CES, Dustin. Also, I got to say this. You got to go experience Vegas because, look, I don't care. Vegas is about more than casinos. It's about fine dining. It's about meeting people who want to be something other than who they are someplace else. Go and visit Vegas while Vegas is Vegas before Vegas stops being Vegas, okay? That's just my advice to you. Joseph Bidsman says, what do you think will make more money, at least for the long haul? Legalize marijuana or sports betting? They were talking about this on Pardon the Interruption today. Oh, that's easy, sports betting, because it impacts more people. I mean, marijuana is a health issue. I mean, at the end of the day, it's smoking, okay? And I mean, there are some people who just don't want to smoke. And okay, but betting, jeez, that's all over the place. I mean, you heard the numbers around illegal betting to begin with, right? So I think sports betting is, what would the term be, huger? Because there are people who don't want to be involved with the smell and the secondhand smoke. There's still that out there. So betting, definitely betting. You can do betting in non-smoking environments. Think about it. So Justin Scott says, this is really going to hurt Nevada/Vegas. All these conventions and conferences have less reason to consider Vegas because of all the side gambling. Fun can be had anywhere in the United States of America. Yep, that's true. Vegas, the Vegas experience, let's put it this way, America is becoming Las Vegas, right? That's kind of the way it looks. It just may be that the Raiders left Oakland at the wrong time. Folks, it's 2 o'clock. I'm going to skedaddle out. And I want to thank everybody, okay? Tomorrow, more talk about sports betting. I had another guest in mind, but I'm going to see if I can get Vince Gracia on another time, perhaps next week, to talk about, well, or maybe later this week. He has a great movie. It's called, uh, it's, I hesitate because I don't want to give away um, um, exactly what it's about entirely. I want to, how do I put it? Well, the movie's called And There I Go, and Then I Go, all right? Without giving away what And Then I Go is about, I'll just say it's one of the most riveting movies I've ever seen. It's slow up until the final parts of it, and then it grabs you quite literally like this. All right? It's a good movie. So I want to get Vince on, my friend, for a while, to talk about it. Eric Young says, would a new casino in Oakland equal more tax revenue for Oakland? Yes. But it would have to come with state approval first. It would also have to come with a sound economic development plan by a developer. I mean, Coliseum City is already in place, but going beyond that, turning into casino, it would seem like a no-brainer, but there are people involved with the Coliseum, I think, that are perhaps in some cases so purist they don't want to be involved if gambling is involved. Some, not all. I'm just saying. All right. John Mark says, bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas, honey. He also says, watch horror films, keep America strong. Black Lion Supreme says the same thing. Good night, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Same Zen time, same Zen channel. All right. And I've seen The Avengers. Hey, Black Lion, I've seen The Avengers, but I'm going to see it again. All right, good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, see ya. Thank you.